Have you ever actually stopped to think, really think, about the fact that you might literally hold the power to heal right there in the palms of your hands? Sounds crazy, right? But what if I told you it's a scientifically measurable reality? Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking a paradigm that's, it's going to fundamentally change how you look at the human body.
So, we are standing at this absolutely fascinating crossroads right now. On one side, we have the ancient, energetic wisdom of traditional Chinese medicine. And on the other, the absolute cutting-edge discoveries of modern biology and quantum physics. We're zeroing in on a very specific gateway. It's known as the Laogong point. And I promise you, by the end of this explainer, you're going to see that this isn't just some esoteric metaphor. No, it is a highly measurable, physiological, and quantum reality.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The anatomy of the Laogong. 2. The biological and psychological mechanics. 3. The quantum energy field. 4. How to actually activate your healing hands. 5. Wei Qi and pathogen defense. And finally, number 6, leading energy with Yi. Let's dive in. Okay, Section 1, Anatomy of the Laogong, locating pericardium 8.
So, the Laogong point, or if we're using the acupuncture taxonomy, pericardium 8, or PC8, is located right smack in the center of your palm. And finding it is actually incredibly simple. Try this right now. Just make a loose fist. Notice exactly where the tip of your middle finger naturally rests on your palm, right there between the second and third metacarpal bones. Boom! That is your Laogong. And what's really interesting here from an anatomical standpoint is that this specific area contains one of the highest concentrations of sensitive nerve endings in the entire human body. So it's perfectly positioned to act as this highly reactive bioelectrical hub.
Moving right along to Section 2, Biological and Psychological Mechanics, Measurable Healing.
Now let's look at the hard clinical data, because this is where it gets really real. When you stimulate the Laogong point, you are effectively slamming the brakes on your autonomic nervous system. Modern clinical studies looking at heart rate variability show that activating PC8 massively boosts your parasympathetic activity, your rest and digest mode. Your high-frequency power increases, which simply means your vagal tone goes up. And at the exact same time, your plasma cortisol, which is your main stress hormone, just plummets. Your heart rate slows down, your cardiac workload drops. You are quite literally, biologically forcing your body into a state of deep recovery.
And this biological braking system, it directly translates to our psychological state. In traditional texts, the Laogong is actually sometimes referred to as the palace of weariness or the palace of anxiety, because in Chinese medicine, the pericardium is the heart protector. So by stimulating PC8, you are clinically cooling down what they call heart fire. And when you clear out that pathogenic heat, you calm the Shen, your mind and spirit. This is exactly why simply pressing this point is so unbelievably effective for things like clearing anxiety, reviving consciousness, or just restoring a deep sense of emotional balance when you're feeling totally drained.
All right, Section 3, the quantum energy field, the science of non-locality. Consider this really powerful insight from Albert Szent-Györgyi, a Nobel Prize-winning scientist. He said, "In every culture and in every medical tradition before ours, healing is accomplished by moving energy." Think about that. Science is finally catching up to what these ancient traditions have known for literally thousands of years. The human body isn't just this chunk of solid matter. It is profoundly, deeply driven by bioenergetics.
Let's look at it through the lens of quantum biology. The human body is understood as what's called a dissipative structure. This concept was introduced by another Nobel laureate, Ilya Prigozhin. And basically, it means we are an open system. We are constantly forming this dynamic standing electromagnetic wave. Think of it kind of like a radio antenna, right? You aren't closed off from the world. You're continuously exchanging energy with your environment through quantum non-locality. So in this paradigm, the Laogong point isn't just some random spot on your skin. It is a literal dimensional portal where your internal electromagnetic wave is communicating directly with the universal energy field. Pretty mind-blowing stuff.
Which brings us to Section 4. Activating your healing hands, awakening the gateways.
So how do we actually use the Laogong? Well, first you have to shift it from a dormant anatomical point into a fully active energetic gateway. And you do this through kinetic and thermal generation. Here are the steps. Step 1. Vigorously rub your palms together. We want to generate friction and get that local blood flow going. Step 2. Focus your mind entirely on the center of your palms. There's a rule in this practice. Where the mind goes, energy follows. Step 3, just wait and feel for a warm, tingling, or even kind of magnetic sensation. Once you feel that buzzing heat, boom, you've successfully woken up the Laogong. Just, don't go trying to shoot lightning bolts out of your hands quite yet.
All right, on to Section 5. Wei Qi and Pathogen Defense, your energetic armor.
Now, we need to talk about safety. In traditional Chinese medicine, your energetic immune system is called Wei Qi, or your defensive qi. When it's strong, it acts exactly like an electromagnetic force field that circulates right beneath your skin. It regulates your pores, it blocks external pathogens like wind, cold, dampness, all that bad stuff. But, and please hear me on this, if your Wei Qi is weak, opening up your Laogong points to try and heal someone else is incredibly dangerous. A weak shield leaves you totally vulnerable to actually absorbing the exact sickness or pathogenic energy that you're trying to help them clear. And that results in severe energy leakage and, ultimately, illness for yourself.
That leads perfectly into Section 6, Leading Energy with Yi, the Power of Intent.
If you're going to engage in external qi healing, there are strict mechanical rules you have to follow. First off, you must never forcefully push energy out of your hands. Instead, you're supposed to draw from your internal battery, which is your lower dantian, located right there in your lower abdomen. From there, the energy is guided up the spine and out through the arms using Yi. And Yi is basically your pure mental intent. And this is absolutely crucial. You must use formal opening and closing protocols to ground yourself. Otherwise, you're just depleting your own vital life force, and nobody wants that.
Because if you don't follow those rules, the consequences are very, very real. Attempting to send or receive energy without the right intent, or doing it while you have a weak Wei Qi, can lead to what is clinically documented as Qigong deviation syndrome. Forcing the flow like that can actually cause energy to rush up into the head. Biologically, we're talking severe adverse physical reactions, dizziness, insomnia, and psychologically, it can trigger intense paranoia, psychotic episodes, and this profound chronic exhaustion that totally disrupts that calming Shen we talked about earlier. Bottom line, energy work is insanely powerful, but it demands immense respect and proper grounding.
So, we've gone on quite a journey today, right? From the physical bones in the hand, through the nervous system, all the way out into the standing electromagnetic waves of the quantum biofield. So I want to leave you with this final, profound question to chew on. Now that you actually understand the multidimensional power residing right there in your own hands, how does this quantum and biological connection change the way you interact with the world around you? Think about that the next time you place a comforting hand on a friend, or for that matter on yourself. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.